Hi, I'm Mr. Number, and today we are going to discuss on vectors. Vectors are physical quantities that have both magnitude and direction. Vectors are denoted as A with a certain line under, whereby this is read as vector A, and the other one is B, which read as vector B. Form of vector in two dimensions. The form of vector in two dimensions is this one. Vector A equals to x times I plus y times j, whereby x is the coefficient of I and j is the coefficient of y. Position of vectors. The position of vectors is written in the form of x, y at the coordinate. Example, to write the position of vector A equals to 2i plus j. Therefore, our solution to this kind of question is, first of all, you have to write or to compare your given vector A, 2i plus j, with the general form of vector. The general form of vector is vector A equals to xi plus yj. Therefore, the value of x by comparison, the value of x is 2, and the value of y by comparison is 1. Therefore, the position of this vector x, y equals to 2, 1. This is how to write the position of given vectors. After discussing on the position of given vectors, we are going to discuss on operation under vectors. These operations include addition, subtraction, multiplication. Addition of vectors. For example, given vector A equals to 2i plus 3j, and vector B equals to I plus 2j. Therefore, you have to find vector A plus vector B equals to how much? Therefore, the solution of this kind of question is, you have to write vector A plus vector B, therefore you substitute the value of the vectors with brackets. Therefore, we have to write the value of vector A as 2i plus 3j, again you put a bracket, plus vector B, which is I, plus 2j, again you put a bracket. Therefore, after that, you have to open bracket by the number outside the bracket. Therefore, the number outside the bracket is 1, and the number outside the bracket of this vector B is 1. Therefore, we get here 2i plus 3j plus I plus 2j. After that, we have to collect the like terms. Therefore, we have to collect 2i plus I plus again 3j plus 2j. Therefore, 2i plus I gives you 3i, and 3j plus 2j gives you 5j. This is how to do vector addition. Let's discuss on subtraction. How are we going to subtract two given vectors? How are we going to subtract the two given vectors? Under subtraction of these vectors, you have also to apply brackets. Example, given these vectors, given vector C equals to 5i minus 4j, and vector D equals to 3i plus 4j. Therefore, you have to find vector C minus vector D. Therefore, to get the value of vector C minus vector D, we are going to substitute the values. Vector C minus vector D we have to substitute the values of vector C and vector D with brackets. Therefore, we have to put 5i minus 4j, again put brackets, then we subtract brackets, 3i plus 4j. Therefore, after that, we have to open the bracket by the number outside the brackets. Therefore, in vector C, the number outside the bracket is positive 1. Therefore, we'll have 5i. And here we'll have minus 4j. But the number outside the bracket of vector D is minus 1. Therefore, minus 1 times positive 3i is minus 3i. And minus 1 times positive 4j is minus 4j. Therefore, we are going to collect the like terms I and j with j. Therefore, 5i minus 3i, then minus 4j again. Therefore, 5i minus 3i equals to 2i. But minus 4j minus 4j again gives you 8j. This is how to deal with subtraction in vectors. Hi, I'm Mr. Number, and again we are going to discuss on scalar multiplication. And in scalar multiplication, we are going to multiply a number with a certain vector. For example, given vector A as 3i minus 4j, then you have to find, let's say, you have to find 5 times vector A. 5 times vector A. Therefore, the solution of this kind of question is you take that 5 outside, then you put brackets, you substitute the value of vector A. The value of vector A, which is 3i minus 4j. After this, we are going to multiply 5 by opening the brackets. Therefore, 5 times 3 equals to 15i. Then 5 times minus 4j equals to 20j. This is how we are going to deal with scalar multiplication. You just have to multiply a number outside with a certain vector. The scalar in this kind of question is 5. The real number, the number without a variable, is what we call as a scalar number. After that, we are going to discuss on magnitude or modulus of vectors. Magnitude or modulus of vectors. This magnitude or modulus of vector is given as a magnitude or a modulus. Magnitude is given as the root of, or the square root of, x squared plus y squared. X squared plus y squared. Where is this from? This is from a diagram of vector. For example, having a diagram like this, let's say of vector A, which is a vertical distance, which has the vertical distance of y and the horizontal distance of x, then the given vector, let's say vector A, will be a line from O to P. Therefore, if you want to find the length of OP, which is the resultant of this vector x, the line x and the line y, we are going to use a so-called Pythagorean theorem. Therefore, from Pythagorean theorem, as c square equals to a square plus b square. Therefore, the value of c square equals to OP, the distance OP. Therefore, the distance OP square equals to a square, which is y square, and b square, which is the base, therefore x square. If we arrange it in a good order, we are going to write it like this. OP square equals to x square plus y square. But this OP is our magnitude of this vector. Therefore, OP is the magnitude of the vectors. Therefore, if OP is the magnitude of the vector, therefore, finding the value of OP, we have to square this side and to square the other side. Therefore, after squaring both sides, we'll have OP equals to x squared plus y squared. Then the root of this function. Therefore, this OP is our magnitude. Therefore, magnitude of any vector, magnitude equals to the square root of x squared plus y squared. Therefore, this is how to prove or to show the formula of finding the magnitude of the modulus of these two vectors as the square root of x squared plus y squared. Given a vector C as I plus 5j, then you have to find, someone asks you to find the magnitude of the vector C. Therefore, solution, the first step is to write the vector in position. Therefore, you have to write the position of vector C in x, y. Therefore, the position of vector C in x, y equals to 1, 5. Equals to 1, 5, which gives us x equals to 1 and y equals to 5. Therefore, from our formula of finding the magnitude of vector, the magnitude of vector as the square root of x squared plus y squared. Having the value of x as 1, therefore you substitute the value of x into this. Therefore you have 1 squared. Again, having the value of y equals to 5, therefore you have to substitute the value of y equals to 5. Therefore you have 5 squared. Therefore you'll have 1 square is 1, and plus 5 square is 25. Therefore you'll have the square root of 26. You write here units. 26 units. This is how to find a so-called the magnitude or modulus of vectors. After this discussion of finding the magnitude or the modulus of vectors, we are going also to discuss on unit vectors. By definition, a unit vector is a vector divided by the magnitude of itself. That means if you want to find the unit vector of A, of vector A equals to vector A divided by the magnitude of vector A. Sometimes magnitude is denoted in this kind. Therefore, saying like you want to find the same magnitude of vector C, you may write it like this. These two absolute lines with the vector within the two lines. Therefore, the formula of finding the unit vector is as you take the vector, you divide by the magnitude of that vector. Therefore, example, given vector D as I plus j, then you have to find the unit vector. Therefore, finding the unit vector from this vector, first of all, you have to find or to write your vector in position. Therefore, you have position of vector D in x, y equals to 1, 1. After that, we are going also to use the given values of x and y to find the magnitude. Thereafter, from magnitude equals to the square root of x squared plus y squared. Having the value of x and y 1, and our magnitude is x squared plus y squared, therefore you'll have 1 squared plus 1 squared, which gives the value of 1 square is 1 and 1 square is 1, therefore 1 plus 1 is 2, therefore the answer is the square root of 2. After having the answer as the square root of 2, again you are going to find the unity vector. From unity vector A equals to a given vector A. A given vector A divided by the magnitude of that vector. Since we have the vector D, therefore we'll have D, the unity vector of D, equals to D vector divided by the magnitude of vector D. Therefore, D magnitude vector equals to D vector, which is I plus J, divided by the magnitude of vector D, which is root 2, Therefore, D, the unity vector of D equals to 1 of root 2I plus 1 of root 2J. But we can also rationalize this, removing the square root of 2 in the denominator. So we have to rationalize the denominator so as we are not going to have this root at the denominator. Therefore, we'll have unity vector D equals to 1 of root 2 times root 2 times root 2 times I, then plus 1 of root 2 again times root 2 over root 2 times J. What are we doing here? We are just rationalizing the denominator. After that, therefore, 1 times root 2 is root 2. Root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which equals to 2. And we have I outside. But 1 times root 2 is root 2. And root 2 times root 2 is root 4, which equals to 2. Therefore, we have 2 under times J. Therefore, the answer of the unit vector is this. The unit vector of vector D is root 2 over 2I plus root 2 over 2J. Hi, I'm Mr. Number, and we are going to discuss on direction vectors. We are going to discuss on how to find the direction in tangent. Therefore, number 1, tangent direction. Tangent direction in vectors. In vectors, tangent direction is given as theta equals to tan inverse of y divided by x. How? From a diagram, having xy plane like this, therefore a vector A or a vector any vector like this, therefore having the vertical distance of y, and the horizontal distance of x. Therefore, the direction we are talking about in vector directions is the direction of the angle between the positive x-axis and the vector itself. Therefore, since this is a triangle, and from trig ratio, tan theta equals to opposite over adjacent. And from this triangle here, triangle OP, let's say D, triangle OPD, the opposite of angle theta is y, and the adjacent of angle theta is x. Therefore, if you want to find the value of theta, equals to tan inverse of y divided by x. Therefore, to find the direction or the tangential direction of vectors, you have to find the value of y and the value of x, then you divide it, then you find the tan inverse of that ratio. For example, find the tangent direction of vector ci plus j. Solution. First of all, because you need x and y, you have to find the position of vector c. Position of vector c, which is in form of x comma y, which gives you the value of 1 comma 1. Therefore, the value of x is 1, and the value of y, is 1. Having the value of x and y, then we can find the angle between the positive x-axis and the vector itself. Therefore, from theta equals to tan inverse of y divided by x, therefore theta equals to tan inverse 1 divided by 1, therefore theta equals to tan inverse of 1. Therefore, saying tan inverse of 1 is which angle will give you the value of 1 when you read it tangents. Therefore, the value of 1 when you read the angle which will give you the value of 1 is only 45 degrees. And this is from a mathematical table. Mathematical table. Okay. Thanks.